Ladies and gentlemen, I just finished watching The Walking Dead, Daryl Dixon, The Book of Carol, Season 2, Episode 5, and this episode has yet another extremely French title that I'm going to absolutely butcher. This is Valor Cest Pouvoir? Pouvoir? I don't know, whatever. It translates in English, I learned, to wanting is power. Not really sure how that relates in any way, shape, or form to the episode, but whatever. This episode had a lot of solely French-speaking scenes, so the leaks from Paramount Plus were not helpful at all in providing the full picture because those leaks didn't have subtitles for anything on the French portions. So I actually went and rewatched this episode a second time this morning to kind of get a full picture of the episode. And quite frankly, I'm glad I did. While I didn't love it, this episode was far better from a writing perspective than episodes 3 and 4, so it kind of felt like a much-needed breath of fresh air within the series, or at least within Season 2 to me. So at large, this episode focused solely on Daryl and Carol finding both Ash and Laurent and the chaos that ensued along the way. And as such, a large portion of the episode focused on the ramifications of Carol's lie to Ash in the first episode, which was great to see. It also focused on kind of the redemption arc of Kovon, which was great to see as well, especially since he helped save Laurent and bring him to Falou's people. Is that how you pronounce his name? I don't know. But essentially, that's the gist of the episode. It was focusing on those things. It was definitely much slower in pace, which was much needed, or at least till the end, which we're going to get into in this video. But I liked that. I feel like this episode felt like something that belongs in the Walking Dead universe. Is it perfect? No. Is the writing perfect? No, it still kind of feels like Fear the Walking Dead writing. But it is far better, in my opinion, than what we got so far. So before we go any further, I just wanted to let you know I post pretty much daily now on Instagram, and I'm going to start more. So if you want to follow me there, I'm going to put that right here. Be sure to follow me so we could chat on there. I post more frequent things. You'll get information quicker on there, essentially. So yeah. Okay, with all that out of the way, I'm just going to kind of run down the list of talking points I have. And it starts essentially at the beginning with Kovon showing up in general to the nest. I thought that was truly great. Essentially, he shows up at Falou's place, essentially delivering the news that the fall of the nest happened and that Carol showed up looking for Daryl and things like that. And of course, Laurent's like, well, what happened to Daryl? And he says he doesn't know. Kovon says he doesn't know. But overall, I'm glad that Kovon was a large focus of episode 5. It was great to see. There's going to be more that we get into within the video. But another small tidbit with that, because shortly after we see Kovon and Laurent at this place, Falou's place, I don't know what it's called, Daryl and Carol come. So it was great to see Laurent finally meeting Carol. I thought it was pretty cool, especially when he was talking about the Commonwealth and Judith and Ezekiel and all those people. I love that. I love when the show has that connective tissue. If you've been watching the channel long enough, you know that that's something that I really care about, and I'm glad we got to see some of it within this episode. So that was really cool. And then, of course, shortly after we have them coming back to Falou's place, Daryl obviously has to explain to Laurent what happened to Isabel, because that was just absolutely inexcusable. And I will say, by the way, the more time that I've sat on Isabel's death, the more I truly do think it was a piss-poor decision, and it's just purely inexcusable. And it even plays out in this episode in ways that I didn't like either. We'll get into that in a little bit, but I wanted to touch on that because I feel like I didn't emphasize this enough in my episode 4 video. Isabel's death was absolutely a disgrace. In every way, shape, or form, it was a disgrace. And as I kind of mentioned in my review of episode 4, being that I've seen this episode and the next episode already at this point, so I've seen 5 and 6, I said that contextually, I kind of understand it. I really don't. And what I essentially mean by that, though, is just it plays out, and I could see why it'll work, I guess. But the idea of killing Isabel in general is just dumb. She was the glue that held the story together, I should say. It's really dumb, it's really bad, and it really did feel like something akin to Madison and Nick Clark being killed just to bring in Morgan Jones. You know what I mean? Like, it felt like that here. And there could be reasons. I don't know if the actress wanted to leave or not. I really don't know. But I could tell you, I found it inexcusable, and I didn't emphasize that enough. Whatever. Now, we have Daryl having to explain this to Laurent, and quite frankly, the one thing I didn't like about this episode, like this is the one thing, is why did they cut away from Daryl directly explaining what happened to Isabel to Laurent? I just don't get it. I mean, I liked what came after that. I'm cool with that. But why didn't they show that? I feel like that's such a core piece of the puzzle that they just completely brushed over. And why? That doesn't really make much sense to me. Whatever. Anyway, I'm still definitely glad that they showed some of it, but it was just an interesting decision overall because it's the most important part in directly saying to Laurent that your aunt died. You'd think they would show that, but no, whatever. I do like what we got, and I liked that Laurent was reasonably understanding about the whole ordeal. Like, you'd think he'd be a little more upset, but I also really liked the way he explained himself, and I even liked that when Laurent essentially said that Isabel loved Daryl just choked up and got quiet. I thought that worked really well. And again, I've said it before, I'll say it again. Daryl and Laurent work so well together. Laurent is the first kid actor on the show outside of Chandler Riggs, in my opinion, that works extremely well. And I genuinely enjoy him. I understand people don't. I get that. But I do. I actually really do like Laurent. And I think this scene shined what made season 1 so special and what could have made season 2 even more special if Isabel stayed in the picture. But whatever, we're going to move past that because I liked this episode, okay? I liked it. Overall, later on in that conversation, Laurent had some reluctance not to go to the Commonwealth because he had people here and all of that stuff. And you could tell he's holding stuff back, and it comes around later in the episode. But it made sense in fairness. Usually I criticize things like that, but I actually thought his reluctance to go made perfect sense. So, yeah, there was that. Essentially, after that conversation, Carol and Daryl have a little conversation. Carol's like, hey, do you want to talk about it? And Daryl's like, nah. I thought that was so funny. Whatever. Then Felu goes up to them, and they start all talking about how they have to find Ash. And Felu's like, I know just the place. And they go to the Demimonde, I think it's called, that one place where Quinn was and Anna was. So they go there. It's like the bar with the prostitutes or whatever it is. I mean, I find it rather peculiar that the one and only place they go to find information is essentially a strip club in the apocalypse. Whatever. But anyway, my random favorite detail in there when they do go to the Demimonde was that Anna just has like a prostitute who's shackled up. Like, I don't know why. I thought that was funny. He's just serving drinks. Whatever. Anyway, so they have a conversation essentially about the plane. Anna said she saw the plane. Blah, blah, blah. I forget the little details that happened there. I'm okay with it. While that's all going on, Laurent and Kovon are having a scene. And honestly, it's really great to see the two of them pair up together. It just works so well. I'm glad they have somewhat of a decent relationship. And I actually really like Kovon as a character. So I'm glad to see that he's kind of coming around right now. This is like a redemption for him. It's really nice to see. And having Laurent and Kovon in general talk about Daryl and how Daryl killed Kovon's brother was really neat. I'm glad we got to see that. And overall, this is exactly why I went back to rewatch this episode, because I really wanted to see this dialogue, because I didn't understand it at all in the leaks. So that's why I went back. And I love that I did, because I got to see how this played out. I thought it was really cool. Look, I kind of hope that Kovon stays around for some time in the story, because I do think if you're going to kill literally everyone, because at this point you've killed all of the Nest people, like Isabel, all the main core people, they're all dead now. So at least having Kovon there would be a great dynamic between Carol and Daryl in the story. I think he would serve like a natural bridge between them. So I hope we continue to see that. I really do. And overall, it's just great to see Kovon and Laurent having this conversation where essentially Kovon apologizes to Laurent for all that he's done against him. I thought that was really nice to see. But then shortly after, Losang comes in, the freaking Scooby-Doo villain that he is. He comes in, and of course, Laurent and Kovon have to go into hiding somewhere, so that all happened. Essentially, Sang comes in and pulls some shit to look for Laurent. I still find this storyline just so downright stupid, but whatever. We eventually get to see in that confrontation that Falou takes a stand. Sang goes off on some stupid tangent about why Laurent must be sacrificed, and it makes no sense. And I'm even glad that Falou in this episode essentially said that this is dumb and all that stuff, and they ended up starting to chant. I'm glad we got to see that. I'm glad they're pointing out how stupid it is, because it's a dumb storyline. I mean, and I know the characters realize that, so obviously they're trying to point out that it's dumb, but it's cringe. It's just cringe. That's what it is. Essentially, that all goes down, and then what we get while this is going on, while Sang is giving this speech about all the things we've endured, so we kill Laurent, blah, 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 all this stupid shit, Daryl and Carol are busy saving Ash. And of course, as they're going to save Ash, Carol just magically finds the radio of Daryl saying he's looking for something from the first episode of season 1. How convenient is that? Whatever. I get they've been there before. I get Daryl's been there before, but still, I thought that was a little funny. But regardless, essentially they end up finding Ash in this car. It's surrounded by walkers. They get in, they clear him out. But somehow, I thought this was interesting. It was a cool series of events. Daryl finds the blow dart with the variant walker juice. I don't know what you call it, but Daryl finds one in the back of the car, and he essentially gets up on the rooftop of the car, shoots a couple walkers so that they become the variant walkers. And I just thought this was kind of interesting. As soon as Daryl shoots these variant walkers, all the walkers that are around the car just start exploding. I guess. What did the variant walkers do? Pop them and they blew up? I don't know what happened, but it was still a cool sequence. That would have been interesting if they showed what it is. And okay, cool, great. They showed the variant walkers here, but is this the last we're going to get of them? What's going to come of that story now that Janae's dead? Because literally in this episode, not a single thing came of that entire thing. It was okay, Janae's dead, fuck the variant walkers, now let's get Laurent. That's what this became. Really, really stupid. Just in general, really stupid. Whatever. Anyway, they end up saving Ash, and Carol, Daryl, and Ash go back to Ash's plane, and Carol and Daryl end up going to talk. Daryl wants to talk to Carol. So I'm really glad to see that Daryl essentially sat Carol down and is saying what the audience feels about the relation to why Carol would lie about her daughter. He's saying what I've said. I mean, and that's, again, I know I said it was bad writing in the first episode and all of that stuff, but now with the retrospect and seeing where that brought us, I'm actually glad they did it in this way, because it's a nice added piece when you have the characters actually acknowledge something stupid. It means it's meant for something bigger, and I'm glad they did it. So I'm just very glad that this wasn't just some throwaway plot from episode 1, and that her disgusting lie became a central point of this episode. I think it is an example of good writing, all things considered. So don't you just love modern technology? Despite me charging my camera to its full right before I recorded, somehow the camera died only 13 minutes into me recording that whole segment. So you're going to have to excuse the change of scenery here and the change in audio quality. Hopefully it's not too much, but yeah, all in all, what we had essentially gotten, if you see me looking down at my iPad, yes, I do use a teleprompter to put notes on the screen. I can't do that now, so now I'm looking at my freaking iPad. Whatever. Anyway, so essentially what we had from there is after Carol explained, or Daryl, got the whole thing from Carol about Sophia's lie, we then see another cut essentially to Daryl going back to the Demimonde to, I guess, ask for fuel for, I think it was 50 more gallons of fuel they need to get back to the United States. So he goes to Anna to try to get the fuel that was there. And in doing so, Laurent's there, and so is Kovon. Kovon and Daryl, they talk and they thank each other or whatever, which was nice to see. But then, of course, our main Scooby-Doo villain, Sang, somehow magically also shows up there and is obviously looking for Daryl, looking for Laurent, and maybe even Kovon. I don't know. But essentially what ended up ensuing in that was something really cool, which we're going to get into before another scene that happens. So before any fight ensues, we get a cut to Carol telling Ash about the lie that she had, which is much deserved, much needed. And of course, like right before she goes and tells him that, Ash is essentially saying to Carol, like, thank you for this because you going to find your daughter has saved me and made me overcome everything with my son and blah, blah, blah. So of course, there's like a real kicker before everything that then ensues from there. But then we do get a little bit of a cut to Carol explaining to Ash that she lied. And obviously, Ash did not take it well. I love that what he got mad of was not the fact that there was a lie, but what she lied about. It's so great to see. I'm glad they didn't stray away from that. And I'm really glad to see they're actually ironing out a detail that I had a fault with, and that this was just a central point of the episode. I thought it was great that they did incorporate this. It was much deserved and much needed. So that all happened, and then it was juxtaposed to Lo Sang going to find them, like I mentioned. But as Daryl and Laurent escape, they escape into the catacombs, which is really cool. And then Lo Sang and his people, his minions, all follow after. They go into the catacombs, and obviously a fight ensues. That's what happens. So I thought it was a really cool idea that they had a fight in the catacombs, and then one by one, Kovon and Daryl just start picking off Lo Sang's group. The only thing that I didn't understand with that is that they hide, like Daryl hides Laurent in like the most obvious spot on planet Earth. And I'm pretty sure, you could correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I'm pretty sure at one point, all the guards literally like shine their light inside exactly where Laurent's hiding and didn't see him, even though the depth is like really small. I could be wrong about that, but if that was the case, really dumb. Maybe I'm just forgetting exactly what it looked like, but still, that was just interesting to say the least. But I do like the idea that, like I said already, Kovon and Daryl just start picking them off one by one till it's down to the minion girl whose name I don't know, and Lo Sang and Daryl fighting. I thought that was really cool. Essentially, Kovon knocks out that girl, but later on we find out that she's actually still alive, so that's something we, I guess, come back to in some way, shape, or form. Essentially what happens is it then becomes a fight between Lo Sang and Daryl, and in the fight, Lo Sang's doing his like Aikido shit, his Morgan Jones shit, and Daryl's using the mace. He's like spinning the thing. And then out of nowhere, it's revealed that Lo Sang has like a knife at the end of his thing, so he doesn't really practice Aikido. Very odd. Like now he's just like a real Scooby-Doo villain. But that didn't last long. Daryl knocks him out with like one foul swoop and then kills him. I guess he crushes his head with a catacomb skull, which was pretty cool. So there we go. Lo Sang's dead. That stupid storyline's dead. But just, I can't help but acknowledge that everyone's died this season. Like, what is left of this story? I understand that maybe they're going in a direction where it's just going to be now Carol and Daryl going to Spain in season 3 or whatever. I guess, like, I don't know what's going to come of this, but everyone's dead. The only person at this point who's still alive is that minion girl that I still don't know her name. Please tell me in the comments. Don't know her name. She's the only other one now still alive out of everyone, whether it's Janae, Lo Sang's group, or whatever, the Pouvoir people, I don't know. I don't know. It's weird. I don't like it. But whatever, Lo Sang's death, I'm glad he died. Like, I think what they did to him this season was just really stupid, to be honest with you. So, I'm not exactly mad he's dead or anything like that. It's just, it was a whole weird thing. It was cool the way he went out, though, with the catacombs thing. I did like that. I thought that was pretty cool. But that's essentially the episode. The last thing we see in it is essentially Ash telling Laurent, Daryl, and Carol when they all reunite together at Ash's barn or whatever, that obviously they're not going to have all 4 of them on one plane that is like the Amelia Earhart style plane. There's just no way the plane will get off the ground. Like, doy, we all kind of, I mean, that's obvious. So that was the big like cliffhanger going into the finale of this season. And I mean, I know what happens, but I'm going to pretend I don't to say I don't know what else they could do this season. Like, I don't know what more they could do. I mean, maybe they leave. Like everyone's dead now. Where is this going? You know what I mean? Again, I didn't hate this episode at all. I didn't love it. I didn't dislike it either. I liked this episode. It was a good change of pace for the story. Now I'm left with the feeling of, and I know this sounds like ridiculous because I do know where it goes, but pretending I don't, left with the feeling like, what could they do next? You know what I mean? What could possibly happen? Because everyone is dead. Like, there's nothing else to do here other than maybe get Laurent and them home. Like, that's it. There's nothing to do. So, I don't know. I mean, I guess we'll see in next week. So there's that. But yeah, that's my thoughts on the episode. Good episode. A lot happened in there. Now everyone's literally dead. So there's that. And yeah, what more can I say? Guess that's it. So let me know your thoughts down below. Be sure to follow me on Instagram if you haven't already. Check out the links in the description for how I produce and make these videos, like this quick camera arrangement switch up when my camera died. It's all down there. Check it out. And with all that out of the way, thank you again so much for watching this video. And until the next one, I'll talk to you later. Peace out.